Hello everyone, welcome to the ITLS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about the basic properties of the milk and products. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about the basic information related to the milk and milk products. Okay, so first of all, when we start our lecture, we have to know the definition of this milk. Okay, so milk are what? Milk are a white liquid which are secreted by the mammary glands in a human beings and an animal. Okay, and it is the food for a newborn baby, and it is in a milk. It estrogens are decreased and progesterone are increased. Okay, and in during the initial period of the lactation, it is the result of sudden removal of the placenta and other factor. Okay, and it is also oxytocin are also responsible for the milk injection. So basically, milk are what? Milk are a liquid. Milk are what? Milk are a liquid. Okay, white color liquid, and they have a rich of nutrients. And basically, it is the food of the infant. It is secreted by the mammary glands in human. Okay, and animals after the label. So this is the basic information of the milk. Now see what is written in the slide. It is the secretion of the mammary glands in human and animals after a labor. It is the only food for newborn for a long period till weaning time. Before birth, the fetus receives its nutrition through the placenta. Okay. Then milk secretion is stimulated by the prolactin. Prolactin stimulate the milk secretion. Milk flow is decreased by the estrogen and progesterone while increased by a thyroxine. Okay, there is a two hormone, that is your estrogen and progesterone. Okay, if this level is high, then the milk flow will be decreases, and if the thyroxine level is high, then the milk flow will be increases. Initiation of the lactation may result from sudden removal of the placenta and other factor. Oxytocin, which is also called posterior pituitary hormone, which responsible for a milk ejection. Okay, so this is about the basic of the milk. Now come to the next part, that is your composition of the milk. So basically the milk contain water, protein, fat, and other minerals like your calcium, magnesium, selenium, and the vitamins like your riboflavin and vitamin B12, and even pantothenic acid. Okay, so this milk and milk product nutrient does not nutrient dense food, and their compositions can be diverse to plant-based diet. Okay, and this animal milk also play an important role in the diet of the children in a population in which they have a very low fat intake. Okay, and also they have a limited access to the other animal sources, and the color, flavor, and the composition of the milk are totally depend upon the species of the um, dairy animal like your cow, goat. Okay, and it also depend upon the its breed, age, diet, and also depend upon the stage of the lactation, farming system, physical environment. Basically they are depend upon all these things. Now see what is written in the slide. Water is the principal constitute of the milk. Okay, milk provide essential nutrient and is an important sources of dietary energy, high quality proteins, fat. Milk consists of nutrients like calcium, magnesium, selenium, riboflavin, vitamin B12, and pantothenic acid. Milk and milk products are nutrients dense food, and their composition can add diversity to plant-based diet. Animal milk can play an important role in the diet of children in population with very low fat intake and limited access to other animal sources food. The color, flavor, and composition of the milk totally depend upon the species of dairy animals, it breeds, age, diet, along with the stage of the lactation, parity, animal of part nutrition, farming system, and physical environment. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about the composition of the milk in a different species. If we talk about the cow milk, then it contain water around 87%, fat around 3 to 4%, protein around 3.5%, lactose around 5%, and minerals around 0.8%. This composition is for a cow milk. Now if we talk about the composition of the milk for a yak milk, then it will contain water around 83%, okay, fat around 5.5 to 9%, protein around 4 to 5.9%, and solid content around 18%. So if you compare a cow milk with the yak milk, then it is one thing is common, that the main constitute of the milk is what? Water. But because the cow milk contain around 87% of the water, and yak milk contain around 83% of water. Okay, now the next one is your horse and donkey milk, that is called a equine milk. Okay, it will contain around water 91%, and fat around 1.9%, protein around 2.5%, and mainly the protein that are present in a yacune milk is casein. It also contain a lactose around 6.3%, which is very high, and minerals around 0.3%. Okay, if we talk about the composition of camel milk, then it will contain water around 86.5%, fat around 4%, protein around 3.6%, lactose around 5%, minerals around 0.4%. Now I'm going to discuss about the composition of the human milk. It will contain water around 87.6%, and fat around 4%, protein around 1.2%, lactose around 7%, and minerals around 0.4%. Okay, so this human milk are good for the infant because it is rich in nutrients. Rich in nutrients. Okay, now the next one is your goat milk. Goat milk contain water around 87%, fat around 4%, protein around 3.6%, lactose around 4.5%, minerals around 0.9%. Shilp milk contain water around 80%, fat around 8%, protein around 5.6%, lactose around 4.8%, minerals around 0.9%. Buffalo milk contain water around 82%, minerals around 0.8%, protein around 4.5%, lactose around 4.8%, and fat around 7 to 9%. Okay, so this buffalo milk are high in fat content because it will contain around 7 to 9%. Okay, so here it is also common that the percentage of the water is high in all type of the milk. That's why this water is considered as a main constitute of the milk. Now milk is form of, okay, so every milk, like if you talk about the human milk, if we talk about the goat milk, cow milk, buffalo, camel, any animal, okay, all milk have a composition and they are made up of water and solid form. Okay, so water form is around 87% and solid form around 13%. And the solid form have a two component. One is your organic and another one is your inorganic. Okay, so this organic constitute of the milk contain protein, lipid, carbohydrate. Okay, so this organic contain protein, lipid, and carbohydrate. Okay, and this inorganic contain minerals and vitamins. Minerals and vitamins. Okay, now the next one is your organic constitute of the milk, because the first constitute of the milk, that is your water, it is what? It is around 83%. Now we are going to discuss about the organic constitute, that is come under the solid constitute. Okay, so the first one is your protein. The first constitute organic constitute is what? It is protein. So if we talk about cow milk, then it will contain a less milk protein than a human. Sorry, if we talk about the human milk, then it will be a less than a cow milk. Okay, the protein contained in a cow milk is high as compared to the human being. Okay, and this protein are synthesized inside the mammary gland, and it is high coefficient digestibility around 85 to 95%. Okay, now the characterization of the protein. Protein have a high biological value. It contain all type of essential amino acid, and they are easily digestible, easily absorbed, and easily metabolized. Okay, it also contains some amount of non-essential amino acid, which is decreases stress on body cells. Okay, this non-essential amino acid decreases the stress on a body cell, and essential positive nitrogen balance are also there, and some growth. It is also essential for the growth of the newborn babies. Okay, now see what is written in a slide. Milk protein less in human than a cow milk. All milk proteins synthesized in the mammary gland. Milk protein of high coefficient digestibility around 85 to 95%, characterized by a milk of high biological value. It contains all essential amino acid, easily digested, easily absorbed, easily metabolized. Okay, it contains moderate amount of non-essential amino acids to decrease stress on a body cell. Okay, the function of this non-essential amino acid, what? It will decrease the stress in a body cell. Essential to keep positive nitrogen balance, that is nitrogen intake more than a nitrogen output. Essential to maintain the growth of newborn. Okay, now the next one is your type of milk protein present in a milk. So there are four type of milk protein present in a milk, that is your casein, lactoalbumin, lactoglobulin, and milk enzyme. Okay, if we talk about this casein, then casein is the dominant milk protein. It in a human milk, casein is present around 25%, and in a cow milk it will present around 83%. Okay, it is also high biological value, and high phosphate content of casein the also allow the association of the calcium, and it will form a calcium phosphate salt. Okay, this casein contain around 0 to 0.7% of phosphorus and 0.7% of sulfur. This casein also contains some non sorry this casein present into a milk are what? They are non-coagulate during the boiling, and the net charge of the milk protein is around negative. So this protein molecule remains separated from each other due to the repulsion. Okay, suppose that this is your protein molecules. So all the protein molecule contain a negative charge. That's why they are repulse each other. Okay, now see what is written in a slide. It is the main and most dominant milk protein. It represents around 25% in human milk and 83% in cow milk. It is a compound protein, that is phosphoprotein of high biological value. The high phosphate content of casein allow it to associate with calcium and form a calcium phosphate salt. Casein contain around 0.7% of phosphorus and 0.7% of sulfur. Casein is the only milk protein that not coagulated on boiling. See, this casein is the only milk protein which are not coagulate during the boiling. Other protein like your lactoalbumin, lactoglobin, and milk enzyme will be coagulate. The net charge of milk protein is negative charge, so protein molecule remains separated from each other due to repulsion forces. Now the next one is your lactoglobulin. So around 87% of the whey protein is represented by this lactoglobulin. Okay, and it is precipitated by full saturation with ammonium sulfate, and it is rich in cysteine and cysteine. So, due to which it give a positive result when we perform a sulfur test. Okay, so it is either simple protein, soluble protein, and easily digested. This lactoalbumin, what? It is a simple protein and soluble protein, and it is what? It is easily digested. Now see what is written in a slide. Represented 87% of whey protein. Protein precipitation by full saturation with ammonium sulfate, rich in cysteine and cysteine, so give a positive result with sulfur test. Simple protein, soluble protein, and easily digested. Okay, now the next one is your lactoglobulin. It represents around 30% of the whey protein, and it is precipitate by half saturation when it react with ammonium sulfate solution. Okay, it is also rich in cysteine and cysteine, so it will give a positive result when we perform a sulfur test. It is also a simple protein, soluble protein, and easily digested protein. Okay, so there are two constitute of this lactoglobulin. One is your alpha lactoalbumin, and the second one is your beta lactoglobulin. Okay, so around 32% of whey protein is alpha lactoalbumin, and around 55% of whey protein is beta lactoglobulin. Now see what is written in a slide. Represent 13% of whey protein. Protein precipitation by half saturation with ammonium sulfate solution, rich in cysteine and cysteine, so give a positive result with a sulfur test. Simple protein, soluble protein, easily digested. Consist of two fraction. One is your alpha lactoalbumin and beta lactoglobulin. 32% of whey protein and 55% of whey protein. Now the next one is your milk enzyme. Okay, the last protein of the milk is milk enzyme, that is your catalase, peroxidase, xanthin oxidase, alkaline phosphate, amylase, lipase, and aldehyde oxidase. Now we are going to discuss about the lipids. Lipids are what? Lipids come under the category of the milk, fat. In a If we talk about a lipid content in a cow milk, then it will around 3.5 gram per dl, and if we talk about the buffalo milk, then it is higher than the cow milk. It will contain 7 gram per dl. Okay, and it is easily separated on standing, and these lipids are responsible for the white color of the milk, and it will also contain triglyceride, which are distributed as a coarse emulsion, and it also contain a oleic, myristic, and malmatic and steric fatty acid. Okay, and it also contain a some trace amount of phospholipid and cholesterol. Now see what is written in a slide. Human and cow milk contain the same amount of fat, that is lipid, that is around 3.5 gram per dl, but buffalo milk is a little higher, that is 7 gram per dl. Easily separated on a standing. Suppose that when we leave this milk in a standing condition, then the fat lipid present into a milk can be easily separated. It is also responsible for the white color of the milk. It consists mainly of triglycerol, which are distributed as a coarse emulsion, and which contain oleic, myristic, malmatic, and steric fatty acid. So there are four type of fatty acid which are present into a lipid, that is your oleic, myristic, malmatic, and steric. Or it also contains a small amount of phospholipid, that is 0.4%, and cholesterol around 0.01%. Okay, now the next one is your carbohydrate. So if we talk about the carbohydrate, then the lactose is the only carbohydrate which are present into a milk. That's why and this lactose can be digested by a lactase enzyme also. That's why some person who have lack of this lactase, they will uh, cannot digest the milk. Okay, so it also reduce the sorry, this lactose it is reducing disaccharide, which consists of glucose and galactose. And around, if we talk about the human milk, then it will contain 7% of lactose, and cow milk contain 5% of lactose. Okay, this lactose may be secreted in urine during a last third of pregnancy physiological, so it should be differentiated from glucose by a OSA zone test. Okay. Now the next one is your inorganic constitute of the milk. If we talk about the inorganic constitute, then the first one is your milk. Sorry, minerals. Okay. So in a human milk, it will contain around 0.4% of minerals. Okay. But cow milk contains 0.8% of minerals. This milk are rich of calcium and phosphorus, and it is present in the proper ratio for the absorption, that is 2:1 in human milk, and in cow milk it is present around 1:2. Okay, suppose that if um, two portion of calcium is present, then the phosphorus will be present in one ratio in a human milk, and in a cow milk 1% of calcium, 2% of phosphorus present. Okay, this calcium and phosphorus are also important for the growth of the bone and teeth and stability of the casein. Milk also contain some different minerals in an adequate amount, that is your sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Okay, and human milk contains sodium potassium in the order of 1:2, which is suitable for the optimal growth of the newborn. That's why it is important for the newborn, for their growth. Now the next one is your vitamins. Okay, so milk is a deficient in three types of vitamins, that is your CDK. Okay, that is okay, and milk contain adequate amount of vitamin B complex, which are sufficient for the first week of life, and pantothenic acid, riboflavin, which give the way greenish tint in a sunlight. Okay, so this is about the vitamins. Now the next one is your milk 9 essential nutrients. Okay, that is your calcium, vitamin D, riboflavin, phosphorus, protein, potassium, vitamin A, vitamin B12, and niacin. This calcium are responsible for the strong bone. Vitamin D are responsible for the calcium absorption. Then riboflavin for energy, phosphorus for strong bone, protein for lean muscles, potassium for fluid balance and blood pressure, vitamin A for good vision and skin health, vitamin B12 for red blood cell formation, and niacin for energy. So these are 9 essential nutrients which are present in a milk. Now the next one is your factor affecting the milk composition. So different factor which affect the milk composition. First one is your species. Okay, if we talk about the rabbit milk, then it will contain a milk protein around 10%, and milk and cow milk contain around 3.7% of milk. If we talk about the milk fat, then cow milk contain around 3.5% fat, and buffalo milk contain around 7% milk, 7% of fat. So it is clear that the first thing that affect the milk composition is the species. Okay, then age. We all know that when old age decreases the fat content of the milk. When the age increases, then the fat content will be decreases. Seasonal variation. In winter, increase in fat, protein, mineral content of a milk. Nutritional variation. Overfeeding has no effect on milk composition. Underfeeding, decrease in milk volume and protein and lactose content of milk, while fat content of a milk is increased. Infection of the mammary gland. Mastitis decreases the fat, lactose, casein content of a milk, while whey protein and chloride ion increases. Now, some dairy product that we are going to discuss here. I'm going to discuss only the basic of this. Okay. Now, the first one is your cultured dairy product, that is your yogurt, then butter, then cream, cheese, concentrated dairy product, and frozen dairy product. Now, the first one is your yogurt. Now, dietetic value of this yogurt, what yogurt contain are HBV protein. which is necessary for the growth. Therefore, it is suitable food for a children and teenager, and it is necessary to repair cell essential for those recovering from the illness. This yogurt are contain a protein named HBV, which is help in the growth. That's why it is important that it should be given for given to the children, teenager, and it is also essential for the repair of the cell and recovery from the illness. Yogurt is easily digested and suitable for the elderly and convalescents. Low-fat yogurts are also available in the market and are particularly suitable for those who have a low kilocalorie diet. Economic value: yogurt can be used in a wide variety of dishes. Yogurt is also available in a varieties of flavor, and it is relatively inexpensive to buy. Now, nutritive value of this yogurt: fat, sorry, protein, HBV protein are present. Fat, it contains saturated fat, and amount depend upon the type of the milk. That is, if we take a milk from low fat, skim, or full fat, then according to that, the percentage of the fat are present. Carbohydrate, then it contain a sugar, lactose, and can be introduced by the addition of fruit and sweeteners. Vitamins, it will contain a fat soluble vitamins, that is A and D, and water soluble vitamin, that is B1, thiamine, B2, riboflavin, and niacin. Minerals, it contain calcium. Yogurts are rich in calcium, and very small amount of potassium and phosphorus are also present in a yogurt. Water, it is varies according to the fat content. If the fat content is high, then the water content will be low, but it will contain at least 80% of water. Okay, now the next one is your storing of yogurt. So this yogurt should be stored at a refrigerated condition, and we have to use it according to their best before date, because best before date are present in the boxes of the yogurt. Bio yogurt contain a additional bacteria culture such as lactobacillus casei, which manufacturer claims support the natural bacteria in the intestine and help to regulate the digestion. Okay, so this some bio yogurts are also there which contain a some additional amount of bacteria like your lactobacillus casei, and it is responsible for the intestinal sorry, it support the natural bacteria present in the intestine, and it also help in the regulation of the digestion. Okay, uses of this yogurts: on its own, smoothies, dessert, fruit salad, in dessert and cheesecake, dips, savory dishes, curry. Okay, now the next one is your butter. C. Manufacture from milk A, water in oil emulsion. So the protein contained in a milk, so in a butter is a little high biological value protein in a butter. Fat, it is depend upon the animal fat. The fatty acid is called a butyric acid. Now carbohydrate, trace amount of lactose are there. Vitamins, it contain a fat soluble vitamin, that is ADE. If you talk about the mineral, then butter will contain calcium and phosphorus, and sodium and chloride are also added during the production. Water, it will contain very small amount of water, that is around 14 to 16%. Now composition of the butter, it will contain 1% of protein, 82% of fat, 0.5% of carbohydrates, 0.5% of vitamin, and 2% of minerals, and 14% of water. Must contain at least 80% fat, be called a butter by law. Okay, if we consider a butter when it will contain around 80% of fat. Now, how production of this butter? First of all, cream is pasteurized, then cream is cooled, and the fat is hardened. Then cream is churned, and the fat clumps together. The liquid part called a buttermilk, which is drained off. Then we added the salt around 1.5%. Then butter is packed for a sale. Now, different type of butter present in the market. Some are salted, which contain around 2% of salt. One is unsalted, in which salt are not added. Spreadable butter, churned for a longer period of time to allow the fat globules separated. This allow for more spreadable product. Low fat, in which fat content is reduces around 50%, and it is for a low kilocalorie diet. Concentrated butter, which are made up of around 80% of fat, and it is used in sandwiches. Now the next one is your cream. So cream is milk. Milk is an oil in water emulsion. Cream is made from a fat of milk. Okay, and if we talk about the nutritive value of the cream, then it will contain protein around 0.3%, and HBV protein like casein are also present. Fat, it is varying quantity of saturated fat. It totally depend upon the type of the cream. Carbohydrate, around 2 to 4% of lactose are present. And if we talk about the vitamin, then it will contain a small amount of vitamin B group and vitamin AD. If we talk about the minerals, then it will contain calcium and water. It totally varies according to their type. Now, production of the milk, production of the cream. Cream is heated to a 50 degrees Celsius. Then it is then subjected to a centrifugal force, which is separate the upper cream layer from the lower layer of the skim milk. Then cream is heated using pasteurization, sterilization, or ultra heat treatment. Now these are the type of the cream, like half cream, which contain 12% of fat, single cream 18%, double cream 48% fat, whipping cream 35% of fat, UHT cream contain 35% fat, and sour cream contain around 18% fat. Cream alternative like cream fraiche contain 30% fat. Fromage frais contain 13% fat. Greek yogurt contain 10% fat, and these are their uses. Now the next one is your cheese, classification of the cheese, like hard cheese, semi-hard, soft, and processed. Hard cheese like your cheddar, parmesan, sweet. Semi-hard cheese like your Stilton, Gouda. Soft cheese like your cottage, brie, mozzarella, feta. Processed cheese like your cheese spread, cheese slide, smoked cheese. Composition of the cheese. Okay, like if we talk about the hard or soft cheese, then it will contain around 26% of protein, 33% of fat, 0% of carbohydrate, and it contain vitamin A or vitamin B12, calcium, and 37% of water. If we talk about the soft cheese, then it will contain 14% of protein, 4% of fat, 4% of carbohydrate, and it will contain vitamin A or B12, and it will contain minerals like calcium and water around 77%. Okay, nutritive value of the protein, it will contain no, nutritive value of the cream. So it will contain protein around HBV, that is carcinogen. Fat, saturated fat, like hard cheese has more than soft cheese. Carbohydrate, none in hard cheese as they are lost during a processing, and a small proportion in a soft cheese of the disaccharide lactose present. Then vitamin A, B12, that is your riboflavin, and D. No vitamin C are present in a, but sorry, it is cheese. Minerals like hard cheese are a very good source of calcium. Water in hard cheese, around 33% of water are present, and in soft cheese, around 75% of water are present. Cheese making, milk is pasteurized, lactic acid, then we added the lactic acid bacteria. Then this changes the lactose to a lactic acid. Then milk is warm approximately around 30%. The enzyme rennet is added. Then milk protein carcinogen convert to a casein. Mixture is left for between 30 to 45 minutes until a casein turn to a curd and whey. Then whey is drained off and the curd are chopped. Cottage cheese scalding, the curd are heated again to a 40% to shrink. Then further and the squeeze out more whey. Cheddaring, the curd are cut into a block packed on top of each other to remove any remaining whey. Okay, then 2% of salt are added and more whey is drained off and the cheese is pressed into a mold. Then for a protection, the cheese is spread with a hot water and this form a rind. The cheese is removed from a mold and wrapped in a polythene bag where it is left for the ripening. Ripening time vary with the type of the cheese. Example, cheddar cheese is left to the ripen for up to a 1 year at 10 degrees Celsius. Okay, then cheddar cheese is produced at this point. The cheese is date stump graded and packed. Okay, then now the next one is your dietetic value of this cheese. So it is rich in protein that I already told you. this slide are already discussed. Now the culinary uses of the cheese, it will use in a hot snack, cold snack, sauce making, filling as a dip and spreader, topping like your pizza, course at end of the meal like cheese board, protein alternative, enhanced nutritive value of the dish. Now some frozen product like your ice cream, sherbet and frozen yogurt also come under the category of this dairy product. Okay, like made this ice cream are made from milk, cream, sugar and flavoring agent, and generally it will contain 6 to 8%, 8 gram of fat, and reduced fat has about 4 to 5 gram of fat, low fat has less than 3 gram, and non fat has less than 0.5 gram. Sherbet, it is made from a milk, sugar and fruit juice. Frozen yogurt made from a cultured dairy product, sugar and flavoring. Now the next one is your concentrated. Okay, concentrated means that dairy product have had the water or liquid removed to increase the density, like your evaporated milk, sweetened condensed milk, and non-fat dry milk powder. So this is all about the basic of the milk and milk product. I hope you will understand. If you have any query related to this topic, you can ask me in a comment box, or for a further detail you can follow the ITLS Academy on different platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, and subscribe ITLS Academy on YouTube and get our app from a Google Play. You can also ask your query to the helpline number that are already mentioned in your slide, and visit our website, that is ITLS Academy, www.itlsacademy.com. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.